We know that guided reading can definitely be overwhelming, and there is a lot of moving parts in guided reading, but guided reading is one of those times that you can definitely do a lot of student goal setting, and you can do a lot of informal assessment. So in the lesson that you're going to see later today, you're going to notice I'm going to have a child sitting in what we call the hot seat. You can call it whatever you want, but in our classroom, the kids know that if you're in the hot seat, you're going to be the one student that I'm going to be speaking to about goals, and you're going to be answering some comprehension questions with me. The rest of the students, I'm definitely going to check in with them as well, but the student in the hot seat is where I'm going to get all my informal data on for the day. So to keep everything organized, I keep just a regular 1-inch binder, and inside my binder, I have tabs for all the students in my class. And I just made up a fluency tracker. And so what we do is I just keep track every time I read with them, the text that I'm reading with them, and the DRA level for it. Then behind it, I go ahead and I do a very simple running record. So in the running record, I'm looking for miscue analysis, I'm looking for frequency, I'm also listening for expression, and I'm writing some informal notes of comprehension questions that I ask them. I also do refer back to task cards that I keep at the guided reading table. So if I know what standard I'm teaching for that day, I tend to ask them questions that are going to go along with the standard that we were focusing on. So this is my informal comprehension data. What I use the fluency data for is every student, when they come back to guided reading, they bring with them a data folder. And inside their data folder, they have a section that has to do with fluency. So at the beginning of the year, I go ahead and do a snapshot with all of them. And the students and I sit down together and we talk about where a fourth grader should be if they're going to have that adequate fluency. So in fourth grade, it's about 120 words per minute. Then we sit down and say, okay, is 120 words per minute something that we can do right now? Or do we want to set maybe a smaller goal or maybe even a higher goal depending on where they already are? We also talk about the errors as well, because we all know that if children are making a lot of miscues, then they're not really being fluent readers. So the value in this is the student and I can go ahead and track. This particular student, he's one of my on-level students. I do a running record with them about once a month. So I'm only meeting with their group 2 or 3 times a week. It takes longer to get through the kids. Some of my lower level students that I'm meeting with 3 or 4 times in a week, they're actually getting a fluency goal and a running record done every 2 to 3 weeks. So theirs is a little bit more frequency. But the discussions you can have with the kids on their goals and where they want to see themselves is very powerful. So hopefully today you'll see how we're going to incorporate the hot seat with fluency data and informal assessment all at the same time of juggling all the other balls of guided reading.